Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel, the main event here. Today we're going to do a quick little recap of the North American International Championships that took place this past weekend in New Orleans, Louisiana. Tournament that was won by Federico Camporesi. We're going to start off by looking at his team really quickly. Then we're going to follow up by looking at the day 1 and day 2 user stats for restricted, normal Pokemon, as well as restricted pairings. And then we'll take a look at like top 8 teams. We'll look at which groups of 6 were the most common, things of that nature. You know how we do on this channel. So without any more being said, let's go ahead and look at Federico's team. So Federico ended up using the team that looked really good at the beginning of the format, which was Whimsicott, Urshi, Ursaluna, Miraidon, Lunala, and Incineroar. This team started off really strong. I think it won, what was it? Milwaukee, that's what it was. It won Milwaukee. It was a very prevalent team in Milwaukee. There was a couple different versions of it. There was the Grimmsnarl version and there was the Whimsicott version, but most of the other parts were pretty much the same. I don't believe that Federico did anything super special to change the team itself. I think he just used the moves that he had to kind of just like player defeat people, right? Because he's one of the best players in the world. I'm not sure if the Incineroar was a Assault Vest on the previous version of the team. I'll have to double check that. But if not, then that would be the one change he maybe did make. However, most of it's the same. We'll just go through it for the sake of going through it. Moonblast, Tailwind, Light Screen, excuse me, Encore, Whimsicott, Covert Cloak. So, you know, fake out, you can't fake it out. You can Encore fake out stuff. Trick Room Mines, they have to get Encore as well. The Urshifu is the standard choice band. So that under Trick Room, you can break through the protects and it's Terra Ghost. They can't come in and fake that out either. Choice band, Surging Strikes is just really strong. Standard Ursaluna with Guts, Facade, Headlong Rush, kind of the typical Ursaluna that you saw on that team. The Miraidon, the only thing I would say is that it's probably a bulkier version. I can't remember the HP number that we saw on screen. I would double check that, but it's probably a modest bulky one if I had to guess. In the comments below, go check that out for me in the screen and tell me what the HP numbers in the comments below. Tell me what the HP number was for his Miraidon in finals, because he was on the finals on the stream side. The Lunala was the standard Electric Sea, Terra Fairy, Moonblast stuff. No Meteor Beam here, because Meteor Beam is not the best move. We saw someone at the tournament lose because they missed Meteor Beam, and because they missed Meteor Beam, the Incineroar was able to parting shot into Smeargle, and Smeargle got a speed boost instantly on switching, and the game was kind of over from there. So yeah, be careful running Meteor Beam. Incineroar, Assault Vest for the special bulk, Terra Bug to resist those body presses, so you're really good into CSR Zom with your Incineroar if you need to bring it for like other reasons. Otherwise, you just kind of bring your standard stuff. So like Incin, Lunala, Miraidon, Ursaluna, or Ursh if you can get it set up correctly, but that's kind of what you mostly want to bring there. So yeah, the team is good. I think people thought the team was going to like not be good anymore because people did stop using it a bunch. So it fell off the radar, and he just kind of brought it while it wasn't on anyone's radar anymore and won the whole tournament, right? So sometimes just because the team did well before and you're super scared that people are going to counter team it doesn't always mean that that matters, right? The same thing happened with like the Arobega team, right? Like it won World, so people thought like, okay, well it won World, so everyone's gonna tech to counter it. And some people did, but it still didn't stop it from winning more events, right? If a team is really good, it's just really good. And Miraidon just seems to be the premier restricted Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, because even when people build their teams to try to beat it, it kind of just still finds ways to win tournaments. It's just very adaptable. The Electric Seed makes things really good, the same way Quark Drive made Iron Hands really good, and the Electric Seed made the Giraffe really good. Electric Seed makes Lunala really good, right? You kind of combine those two roles into one. You have a Trick Room Sweeper plus a Trick Room Setter with bulk. So yeah, this team is going to continue to be good if Red Guy continues. We'll see what the circuit, what gets announced for the circuit. We didn't get any announcements at NAIC, so hopefully we get one at Worlds for the future of the circuit, or maybe before then, because usually the circuit starts in July. So we need that information as soon as possible. But yeah, that's the team. So we're going to go ahead and go look at the usage stats. So we'll use Victory Road for the usage stats because I just kind of like how they have them very clear on the graphic. So for day 1, the most used restricted pairing was Cali Ice and Miraidon, with the most used #1 restricted being Miraidon itself. I'm at 42%. 42%, right? I know the previous tournaments had it at this high, but I just want to reiterate like how absurd that is. Because if I scroll down, right, just to the day 1 usage stats for the normal Pokemon, and remember, right, the restricted you have to choose 2. Whereas you can kind of have an unlimited supply of the normal Pokemon itself. the fact that it's up there with like Incineroar for usage and also dominating the usages compared to the rest of these mods is actually insane. We never really see restrictors get that high, at least not in the modern era. Calyrex Shadow being number 30, being number 2 at 32 is still pretty absurd, right? Because it's higher than Urshifu, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, etc. If you look over at day 2, Calyrex, Ice, and Miraidon converted well, basically increasing their stake in the tournament from 18 to 21. Usually that's a really good sign that the pairing is strong, right? If it starts at a lower number and goes up the next day, that's really good. Cali Shadow Zama did the same thing, right? They were at 11%. This is the duo that people were expecting to get countered most because this one had already been doing so well, and this one already did so well, so people expected this one to get dropped some because people were going to bring this, and because people thought people were going to bring this. You see it didn't have as high usage in day 2 compared to this one, but then it converted even better than Miraidon Cali Ice did, right? It went from 11 to 20, so that's basically like a double. That's an awesome conversion. Cali Shadow and CSR, Cali Shadow and Koraidon, Cali Shadow CSR are the same thing, was right behind these duo. Usually ghost fighting is just gonna make a big splash, and it did convert well, even though it kind of lost favor with people. It did convert pretty well for this tournament. And then Miraidon Lunala was the one that people stayed away from the most because, as you can see, like I said before, people just thought that this duo was like outdated, so it wasn't going to be able to be successful. And you look here, it didn't really convert that great, right? 6.9 to not being in the top 4 anymore. And Zamazenta Miraidon did, aka the Electric Fence. Shout out to Lorenzo Arce for coining that term. This one was not in the day 1 top usage, but obviously it had the 4th highest stake in the day 2 usage itself. If you look over here, Lunala was 14% for day 1. It went down to 8. And then Pagos was the last one here. It even managed to overtake Lunala, but it didn't convert like super well. It just kind of was a 1-to-1, 8% to 8%. Koraidon went down a little bit from day 1 to day 2. Kyogre also went down a little bit from day 1 to day 2. Going down a little bit is not like the worst thing in the world, but clearly we have an established top 4, right? Miraidon, Cali Shadow, Cali Ice, and Zamazenta. They all like increased except for Miraidon, and Miraidon didn't increase because it just went 42 to 42, which is absurd, right? 1-to-1 is still absurd for something that's that high of a number. We'll go down here and look at the standard Pokemon usage really quickly. So one of the big things that jump out to me right away is like, obviously Incineroar 46 and 48 is really high. Urshifu at 27. If you look here, Champao is at 17.8%, but up here, Champao really took a leap in the day 2 stats, and I'm gonna look at some of the common cores to see if we can figure out why. I used Champao because it was just really good. Like Ruination is really good, Ice Spin is really good. I also used Amoonguss, and you can see Amoonguss converted really well from 21 to 28. Because these guys both are pretty good into Miraidon, one as a redirector, one as a damage threatener. Like usually when Champao's on the field with Sash, Miraidon has to do 1 or 2 things: Terastallize or Volt Switch, because it cannot stay on the field just freely with Champao out here, because the Crash will kill it, Spitter will kill it, depending on like the spreads. If they don't Terra, or so they have to either escape or they have to Terastallize. So you get to force out some stuff with Miraidon when you have Champao on the board, and obviously Miraidon was really high up there, so Champao's going to be up there as well. And so is Amoonguss, because Amoonguss is really good into it. Regibolt also did really well, another mon that is good into Miraidon, because you can resist a lot of its stabs. You can force it to lock into moves that it doesn't want to, or force it to Volt Switch so that it's not doing its maximum damage all the time, even though it wants to click Volt Switch all the time. If it's not clicking like Drift, that's really good for you. If you can force it to click Dazzle, you can get this thing off the field and swap in the resist like Amoonguss, for example. So you have like options with these guys, right? So Urshifu converted down a little bit. Not exactly sure why, maybe because Amoonguss and Raging Bolt were so good and Miraidon was so high. All 3 that give Urshifu Water a hard time. Iron Hands didn't convert terribly, right? 18 to 17, and just everything else kind of just shot up above it. Like Rillaboom was still above it. Whimsicott converted up really well, which is, I wonder which team Whimsicott was on that made it do so well, because it wasn't on all the Miraidon teams, I'm pretty sure. So I'll have to look into that. Volcarona popped up really well in this tournament. A lot of people picked up Volk because Volk was so good into CSR Zom. especially like with screens. If you have screens up, CSR won't be able to kill it, especially if it has Quiver Dance. And redirecting the body presses and the heavy slams and the behemoth bashes, and not taking any damage and threatening a burn is really, really good. So Volcarona filled the role for a lot of teams that way. Fluttermane was not a day one high usage Pokemon, but as you can see here, it was really good on day 2 on those Miraidon teams that did convert pretty nicely, right? From 10% to 12%. So Fluttermane probably popped up those. Chi-Yu did really well as well, because Chi-Yu was also on those Miraidon teams from 13 to 16. Frigidraft did fall out of favor on day 2, as in it didn't convert as good as these other guys. It was 12%, and now it's below 11 as Smeargle took over the last spot. So we're gonna look at some of this stuff on Lab Mouse to see what the cores were that were the most common. Okay, so right now the way I have this set up is this is just all the teams from the entire tournament, so 1129 teams. And here is the day 2. I believe, I think 162 people made day 2 with records of 6-2 or better. So let's take a look. So you see here, it shows the compositions of 6 that were the most common. So Chien-Pao was on the most common day 2 team with Volcarona Zom. This team actually was very good because it was Volcarona screens, Iron Hands, Zom. These guys right here, all behind screens, do really well. Chien-Pao, Zamazenta do really, really good as far as damage is concerned. If I can actually scroll down to Chien-Pao here really quickly. Let's move this over for you guys. If you notice, like, it did run Ice Spinner a lot. It also ran Crash, but you see here, this is what I want to look at. Ruination is the big one that a lot of people ran. I ran Ruination. Basically, it's really good, especially paired with Miraidon and Zamazenta, because one, Ruination doesn't care about like screens or Intimidate, right? It's just gonna do 50% damage all the time, and because of that, and because it outspeeds Zamazenta and outspeeds most Miraidon that people were running, you will get the Ruination off first, do 50%, and then your Body Press or Sword of Ruin is likely to pick up the kill on most things, and your Drift is going to pick up the kill on most things, if not your Volt Switch, right? So as a partner to those two, it does really, really well as far as chipping these down through screens, through Intimidate, no matter what damage is out there. Even something like a Moongush, right? That if they Terra to avoid your Crash or Spinner, and you just click like Ruination into it and then double into it with something else, that Amoongush is probably going to die as well. Even like CSR, I would Ruinate and Heavy Slam into it. That picks up. You probably didn't know that. Most people don't know that picks up. Ruination plus Heavy Slam with Sword of Ruin Field picks up CSR because it's a 120 base power steel move. Ruination Body Press picks up Miraidon. Ruination Body Press picks up Raging Bolt. It picks up Iron Hands. It picks up Zamazentas if they don't Terra. Like, this is really, really good damage. So I can see how Chien-Pao converted so well. The next set for, well, actually no, let's look at the end. Okay, no, we'll go back to that. So yeah, the next most common groups for, let's move this back over. Next most common grouping is the Miraidon Weezing stuff. This team converted really well, I'm pretty sure. If I look over here, yeah, 3% of day 2 when it was 2% of day 1. So yeah, the team itself is very strong because you don't really have to like think that much, honestly. You kind of just lead Weezing plus Miraidon or Calyrex. You have Taunt on the Weezing, you have Toxic Spikes, or you have Poison Gas, or you have both depending on what you're running. You have your Sun because you have Ability Shield and Miraidon. They don't have any weather to counteract it. So you just lead these two, you start clicking your buttons, right? And just let things happen. As one does not get turned off by Weezing, so this thing gets to have its ability. Like, talk about $90 privilege, while you don't get to have your abilities. So you just click Astral Barrage and you kind of just deal with it. So like, you have to beat this team, you kind of beat it like in the build with like things that you might have, like some redirection, maybe some manual weather, which is very uncommon in this tournament. You have like the appropriate resist, like Terrifier, stuff like that. That really helps. But yeah, so the team is was one of the most common. As you can see here, this version was also very common, which is the same exact team, but with this has Walking Wing, this has Waking Bolt. So yeah, a lot of people just kind of just brought this team to the tournament because again, it's very easy to pilot and you don't really have to like do that much to have success. This Urshifu team, I actually ran something similar to this myself. But my ice type was a Chien-Pao and my other restricted was Zamazenta. I didn't have a Rillaboom on the team, but I did have an Ursh. I had the Jugulus. Jugulus is like a very, very solid tournament. It gives you a lot of outs into matchups that you would otherwise like struggle with. For example, the Pagos matchup is kind of free with Jugulus in Snarl. CSR Zom is easier to deal with if they don't have Raging Bolt. With Raging Bolt, it's a lot tougher to bring Jugulus, but if they don't have Raging Bolt, CSR Zom isn't that hard with Jugulus plus like Ogre or Urshifu, for example, or Zom. Jugulus is really good in those matchups. Having your Trick Room mode with Amoonguss, Cali, Ice is really strong. Depending on your character speed, it can also be part of your Trick Room mode. If your Urshifu is Scarfed, which a lot of times it would be, you have fast mode with like booster speed Jugs with Hurricane, you have Scarf Urshifu Surge Strikes, then you have Kyogre, and then you have like Amoonguss for redirection for the Kyogre, for healing for the Kyogre, stuff like that. You have then you have like Rillaboom for your utility, because it's better in rain than Incineroar is. So like, yeah, this is a very, very good team. I would probably consider running this if I was to do NAIC over again, even though I like the team I had a lot as well. Any other notable teams? This is more of the same stuff, right? Yeah, this is the team that ended up winning, except it minus the Grimmsnarl. So yeah, more of the same stuff. We're going to look here at the day 2 versions of these most common teams, and you can see the Miraidon stuff just again got you really far if you brought it. I'm pretty sure this is probably a lot of the EU players because they're big on the CSR plus Pagos train. 2 big spread damage dealers. Well, 1 big spread damage dealer and 1 potential big spread damage dealer if you can get it up. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which I'm sure the Smeargle probably helps with. Actually, let me see if I can find Smeargle on the list to see what it's running. The Smeargles, they were 18 out of 19 Smeargles ran Decorate. So yeah, exactly. So Decorate, Fake Out plus like Calm Mind. If I go to find the Terrapagos, I'm pretty sure they were Calm Mind Terrapagos, Earth Power, Starstorm. 8 of them were Calm Mind, and the other 6 were Choice Specs, right? So you just kind of click Fake Out, Calm Mind, Fake Out, Terra Starstorm, Decorate. If you get a speed boost in front, you can Spore stuff, then you can get more Calm Mind stuff done. It's really annoying to play against, actually, like very, very annoying if you think about it. And I'm pretty sure these Whimsicots were like, some of them were Sunny Day. One of them was Sunny Day in day 2. Okay, so most of them were just Tailwind, Encore, Moonblast. Oh, Fake Tears. I played against Fake Tears Whimsicott, and I played against Tickle Whimsicott. The one Tickle, I don't know if the Tickle one made, no, Tickle one didn't make day 2. Somebody else's Tickle one made day 2 because this is the day 2 list. But Tickle lowers your attack and defense. So my Zamazenta essentially could not play the game in front of that thing because it lowers your attack and defense. I can't do any damage and I can't defend myself. So yeah, this team is not a team I expect to see at all. Like Sneasler, this plus Ditto, I don't recognize that team at all. And it's 3% of day 2, which is the second most common core of 6. That's actually kind of interesting. This team is a bit of a common core of team. This one's a bit less common. Obviously 2% of day 2 wasn't that high on the day 1 with the Smeargle Kyogre stuff. I wonder if that was a Jack button. Does any other Smeargles run a Jack button during this tournament? Let's find their items. No, they're all focus sash. It was just very standard. So it wasn't any gimmicks to it besides it being a Smeargle. And then the team that won was this one. So lastly, we're just gonna look at the top 8 teams and then we'll wrap this up. So here are the top 8 teams for the tournament. As you can see, the team that was the winner was Federico. Marco Silva came in second with CSR Zom, and basically 4 standard balance teams. The balance 5 is these 4 and like Urshifu. Obviously you can only have 4, so he chose Ogerpon over Ursh. Kazuki Kobayashi had a very strong run. Ended up using Cali Ice, Miraidon, Giraffe, Urshifu, Landorus, and Incineroar. Eric Rios got top 4 with Ogerpon Grass for me. Take a quick peek at his team. I think it was Covert Cloak, right? Covert Cloak, Taunt, right? And Encore, and Spiky Shield. So this was actually very strong, obviously. And no redirection, but like being able to taunt and Encore stuff is just like very, very good, especially at +1 speed. Like if you get the +1 speed and just start like encoring stuff that protected, like that's really, really strong. The Miraidon was Choice Scarf, Electric Drift, Draco Meteor, Snarl, Volswitch. I really love the Choice Scarf Miraidon. Electric Seed, Volcarona, Protect, Quiver Dance, Giga Drain. I know it's cut off for you guys, but we'll move back to the screen in a minute. Standard Rillaboom, Standard POW, and Standard Zom. But yeah, the team overall with the Electric Seed Volk and the Taunt Encore Ogerpon is actually really, really cool in my opinion. This team was Pagos, but you see like Italy, all 4 Italian players in top 8 came with different teams for the most part. and all did really well. You would think they would all like be running the same thing, but nah, they all kind of went their own way, which I can respect. But yeah, this guy had a standard. No, it's actually not standard at all. I don't recognize this team. Pagos. That's actually pretty cool because like you don't see Pagos with Miraidon often, because obviously they both kind of want a Terra, especially the Pagos, and obviously the Terra gets rid of this, so you kind of have to volt switch to get off the board Terra and then get your terrain back later. But that's still pretty nice. I do want to see the set on the. Okay, so it was Ice Spinner Treads. I wanted to check, and Steel Roller, right, which is kind of insane because both of those moves remove terrain, and so does terrestrializing your Pagos. So you would think that's some anti-synergy, but it worked out because this player came in 5th place, so it didn't matter that much. Yuma, you CSR Zom with Raging Bolt, Smeargle Tornadus, the Soul Tornadus in top 8, Rillaboom. This is the most like standard team probably here in it. And then this player, Gabriel Gotti, used Screamtail. He had Leech Seed sub Calyrex, where you could like Leech Seed Zamazentas and then just substitute, and they couldn't really do anything to you. And it had Terra Normal, right? So if you Terra Normal, you can't get hit by Ash Barrage, and if you just click sub, you don't get hit by like the Body Press either. So it's kind of like a one way to beat CSR Zom like on its own, obviously with the other cool mods as well. This probably was the Kyogre check because it is a team that could be a little bit weak to Kyogre, especially the Assault Vest Kyogre versions. So I could see the need for a check to rain. We're just gonna click the Pokemon just to see the most usage. So yeah, 5 Incineroars in top 8, 4 Miraidons. Half of the so actually the only restrictors to make top 8 were Cali Shadow and Miraidon. That's actually insane. Oh, and then Zamazenta, of course, and Lunala had 1 appearance in Terrapagos. I was actually completely wrong with that sentence. Because I forgot it's not Reg G, so 4 and 4 does not complete the field. My mistake. But 4 Miraidons, so 4 out of 8 teams and 4 Cali Shadows is impressive, and 4 Zoms is very impressive. Every other restricted had 1 or less Lunala, Calyrex, Terrapagos. Terrapagos making top 8 is really good for it. Miraidon made top 8, so that was the other 4. The 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 made up the other 4, and then the other guys dominated as much. These has 4, 8, 12. So yep, 16 restrictors, obviously. So yeah, no Kyogres in top 8, no Groudons, obviously. No Zacians, no. Those are the only ones you kind of really consider, right? Yeah, so all the top restricted except for Kyogre made the top 8 in some capacity, which is a bit surprising because sometimes somebody gets left out the shuffle, but not in this tournament. So very diverse tournament. Smeargle in top 8 is so cringe. Hate that guy. But obviously this video is gone on long enough, and I'm just rambling at this point. But I hope you guys enjoyed the information. I will probably do a video with my team, maybe playing some games or maybe just kind of going over it. Maybe a team report. We'll see. In the comments below, let me know if you want like a team report. You want me to talk about the run? Do you want to play some games with the team? Do you want all of the above? Let me know what you guys want. Otherwise, thank you guys for being here. Click like for your boy. Subscribe if you're new. Become a member if you are so inclined. I'll see you guys in the next video.